Good morning, and what a glorious Saturday morning it is. The sun is shining. What a beautiful day. Hopefully, the summer is on its way. So, I hope you enjoy the sunshine today. Okay, well, I just wanted to do a little update on the progress of my second book, the sequel, Paving the Way. I should be speaking to the publisher sometime this week, and he will be sending me over pictures of the cover. So, I'm really excited about that. So, we are getting very close to it actually being available to buy. So, good news for the people out there that are waiting patiently for the publication of my second book, Paving the Way. Okay, and I am currently writing the third book in the trilogy, Freedom in Chains. And I'm still struggling to write that, but I'm writing, so that's good. I'm not putting any pressure on myself, and it will be written. It will be written. I'm determined to do that. So, okay, and I also wanted to share. It's a little magazine. It's a local magazine that's been published, and I've been featured in it. So I'm excited about that. So there is my story. And the journalist, Callum, who got in touch with me, he saw my story on Kent Online and he wanted to know more. So that is how the article came about. But this one goes a little bit deeper into the trilogy. And as most of you know, the first and second books is location is Skiathos, so based in Skiathos. It is based on a true story. The whole trilogy is based on a true story, but they are still novels. So a lot of scenarios, a lot of characters have been made up, come out of my imagination, but a lot of things did happen. So the first one is going to Skiathos and falling in love with a Greek man and what happens there, and the story around that. And then the second book, Paving the Way, that goes back to Skiathos, and there is a brilliant storyline that comes out of that. I'm really excited for you to read that. And little bit of mystery there as a mystery woman turns up. But the second book is in two parts. So the first part is going back to Skiathos, and the second part goes a bit deeper into what happened. Me and my family got made homeless. So we had a house fire, and so we had to get into temporary accommodation. So that was a really hard time for me and my three children and my dog at the time as well. So that covers that. And there's more to the story as well. There's alcoholism. People that have read the book know that Mick has got a problem with alcohol. So it delves a bit deeper into that as well. So there's a lot of deep issues in both the story and both the books so far. And the third, and this is what the article delves into really, it talks about us being made homeless, and it talks about losing my son. And within 4 years, I had the most wonderful experience going to Skiathos and all of that happening. And then we got made homeless. My son ended up going down the wrong path and ended up in young offenders. And he spent some time there where his life changed around, and then he had an accident which unfortunately cost him his life. So that happened in 4 years, and that is what my trilogy is about really. So obviously, as I said before, there are characters and scenarios that have been thrown in there to make more content and make it a bit more exciting. But the third one is going to be mostly based on the facts of what happened when I lost my son and the effects it had on me and my family. And there's other things that happened around that time as well. There's other events that have led me to where I am today. And that is what Callum sort of spoke about in here as well. And I talked about hope. And, you know, I have a faith, I have a strong faith, and we need to have hope. We need to have hope in something. Otherwise, it's very, well, we won't survive. We won't survive. I have survived, as you can see. I did try to take my life a couple of times, and it obviously didn't work because I'm still here, but I was in such a deep, dark place that it was just awful. And I was alone. I felt so alone. And I just want to say, if people that, because what's going on with the pandemic, you know, there's people that are dying. There's people dying anyway of all different things, and I don't want to make light of that at all. And the loss of someone close, a loss of a child, a loss of a family member, a loss of a friend, even a divorce or a loss of a friendship, you know, how it cuts deep down inside of us, and we feel so hopeless and we end up in a dark place. And my objection of this, or the whole trilogy, is to give hope that you can survive. You can survive losing a child. You can survive losing somebody close. And it is very, very, very hard. And I did go to a very, very dark place. And I do understand how it feels to be in that place. And if anybody wants to talk to me about if they're going through that at the moment, you can talk to me about anything, even addiction. You know, I was an alcoholic for a long time, and I haven't had a drink for 11 years, and that was how I coped with everything, was through alcohol, and that led me down a really, really dark path. It just didn't help at all, but I know that's how people cope. And with drugs, I have never done drugs, but I've been very, very close. My son became a drug addict, unfortunately, and so I know the effects it has on the family, because it was devastating. It was one of the worst times of my life, was fighting that addiction with my son. And so that's what the third book does delve with, and I think that is why I am struggling to write it, but I will write it. So if anybody is out there and they need to talk to anybody, they feel hopeless, they feel desperate, then please, please speak to me, message me on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. You can, on my website, www.lisalabon.co.uk, there's an email address. You can email me. I will be that listening ear. I will help you any way that I can, and even if it is just to listen and to understand. I have empathy because I've been there. So I didn't mean to say all that, but I did. So I just wanted to get that message across, and I'm really grateful for this article, because it's given me that reflection time. And I do forget. I don't forget. It's not in the forefront of my mind anymore, you know, and it does come back. And it was an awful time, but I'm still here. I'm still surviving. I've survived. I'm still fighting, and the good fight of faith, as they say. So I just wanted to say that. So thank you, Callum, for writing this article, and thank you for everyone again for buying my book In the Blink of an Eye, my first instalment. And it's a good story. It is a good story, even if I do say so myself. And I will definitely let you know when the second book is coming out, and it'll be very, very soon. So, and anyone out there, all my Christian friends, if you could just pray for me as I'm writing the third book, and just to courage and strength, just to get all those feelings and emotions out on paper. And that's another thing I spoke about on here, because that was the only way I could do it. Get all those feelings out. I used to bottle everything up, and it was just paper. I write poetry. I've written a lot of stuff, especially around losing my son. And my son's name is Danny, and he would be 35 now. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. That was 17 years ago that all that happened. So yes, so it's just a good way of getting those emotions out, is getting them on paper. And I know that I'm going to be blessed by what I write, and there's stuff there that still needs to get out. So even if you do write things down as well, it does help. So, okay, I will stop talking now, and I hope you have a wonderful, glorious day. And I will speak to you soon, hopefully very soon, with an update on my second book, Paving the Way. Have a good day. God bless. Bye bye.